Hello everybody, we're coming up to solstice, powerful time. I expect everybody in some way who's at all spiritually minded will be going through their own stuff. I have been quite unwell this last couple of weeks with a relapse. I have this thing called CFS, whatever, and I'm dealing with so much, and I live on my own, and it is a challenge. I know ultimately it's good stuff, but it takes its toll, doesn't it? So, but I thought, well, I've only have so much energy per day, and I've got to do something tomorrow. I really wanted to get this video out at the time of solstice. It's a powerful time. So anyway, here we go. I'm not very glamorous today. I've got a bit of a tan though, back under my eyes. But never mind. That's my vanity. I think it was King Solomon said, vanity, vanity, all is vanity. So today we're going to talk a bit about there are 4 weekends actually, on Egyptian ritual, and they were held by a lady called Dolores Ashcroft. No, I can't say it, the Swedish name. I'm not sure she's still alive because this was 30 years ago, but she's a very good teacher, and she teaches things about Kabbalah, which is this one here. Kabbalah, Egyptian ritual, Magik, and something else. Lots of all the interesting subjects. Very good teacher, very interesting lady. And these weekends were held in Bath. So I'm just going to give you a brief history about this particular thing. I'm not an expert on this, but it's really odd. Since I've decided to do this video, there were 2 or 3 other videos come up on YouTube. Isn't that strange? So it must be a good time for it. So the weekend I went to was called the Weighing of the Heart. Egyptian belief systems believe that you have to weigh your heart to make sure you can enter the afterlife. And it's about Osiris, basically. Osiris, he was a very good teacher and a very wise, lovely man. His wife was Isis, but he had a brother Set who was very jealous of him. Ultimately, to cut a long story short, Set killed him and threw all his parts all over the place. And poor old Isis she recovered them all except the penis, which I think was probably a good idea. She didn't recover that, so I'm not quite sure what it did about that, but she recovered most of it and bandaged him all up, so that he could go to this particular ritual of weighing of the heart. The weighing of the heart was run by Maat, the goddess Maat, the goddess of truth, and you have scales with on one side the heart is balanced, on the other side is a feather, and the heart is meant to be as light as a feather. Meanwhile, there are lots of questions to be answered by the 42 assessors. Yes. So this weekend I love Egyptian stuff. I've had lots of lifetimes in Egypt, but I can't remember a lot of it. Fortunately, I don't think they were all good ones. But this particular weekend it was about the weighing of the heart, and I think it was strange that there were 42 of us there, and these questions have to be asked by 42 assessors, who then assess whether the person's heart is clear enough to be able to go into the afterlife. So there we all were, and lots of magical Egyptian music was played. We all wore masks actually. It was a very beautiful, ritualistic day, and upon the stage came Osiris, all bandaged up in his bandages, and there was the scales with the feather on one side. I think Maat was also dressed up as the Egyptian goddess. And one by one we had to ask these questions. They're called negative confessions or something like that. There'll be somebody now, I expect. But we had to ask these individual questions. And I found it quite difficult because it seemed the question I asked related to me in particular, which really goes on from the last video when I was talking about channeling. And I didn't go into complete trance, and I didn't give myself over to another body, but this question was about, have you lent your body to another? I think it meant, has another spirit taken you over completely? I don't know, but that was the question I had to ask, which is quite strange. So there was quite a discussion about it afterwards because I was quite worried about it. One by one we had to ask these questions, and the heart was not the real heart, obviously. the heart was duly weighed on one side of the scales, and I'm not quite sure what happened to Osiris, but it was a very, very interesting weekend. And so the other 3 weekends were on slightly different subjects, but this one was particularly interesting. So I'm not sure I should have gone a lot longer than that. I think I'm just feeling very tired, so probably I'm not very inspired today. So it has been a difficult time, so I'm not sure. It's to do with my daughter. I'm having to do a lot of letting go, but I find when we let go of things, it's not just this, for us kind of old souls, we have so much to undo, and I think I want to rewind. Do you know what I mean? Going back over old stuff, clearing out old stuff, and when one thing comes up, it's like it makes way for a whole lot of other stuff as well. It's not just the one. You find it's like a bundle, and really I don't know what all of it is, to be honest, and lots of different issues, and I have lots of help, but it's very exhausting. So I think this is the time we are having to really delve deep. I did read somewhere where you have to be in touch with your higher self in order to go into your deeper self, because you need the assistance, you need the light. And I had a very strange experience in the morning. And I'm telling you these things, I think somebody else might be having odd times, and it would be kind of reassuring. Oh well, if she's going through it, it's okay that you know what I mean. It's like relating, it's sharing, isn't it, really? And I woke up. I've had it before. I call it mind losing. It's a bit like when your computer is downloading stuff very, very rapidly. But this was different. I woke up and I was very deep breathing. I knew that I was in deep sleep, and yet I was conscious. And it was like images and pictures, and I think I was travelling through dimensions actually. So that was a little bit scary. I thought, I just knew I hadn't got to be afraid. I had to hang in there and allow this to go through. And I have an affirmation which is very useful to say, and it is: I'm uplifted and upheld by the Christ mind. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. And I say that over and over again when I'm going through these things, and it just keeps me subconscious enough to be sane, if you know what I mean. Because it is a fearful thing. So, well, you are losing our mind in a way. So that was a very strange experience the other morning. And I've had lots of, I would like to share more of these things, but I'm never quite sure what they're the appropriate moment. I don't know if I've covered it. I tend to do things far too quickly. I tend précis. I love writing. I've written 2 books, as you probably know, and I précis things down to a few sentences. Well, obviously there's a lot more to know. I mean, there are websites about this, the Egyptian rituals, and there's lots of stuff to know about it. And I've just written down my experiences of it. I think I've already done the web. I could go over that a bit again, where I was taken into a past life where I had my last initiation. I had to climb into a sarcophagus, and they really are solid. I mean, they're great thick sides, thick lids, and cold, and they're bleak and they're horrible, and you have to lie in this thing for 3 days, and you have to literally go through your death and out again, out to the river Styx, I think it's called. Well, I got into this thing. I was an Egyptian priestess, I think, at the time. Got into this thing, and I was fully confident that I'd be able to do this. And there were trumpets. You can imagine these long golden trumpets and priests. It was all very beautiful actually, but unfortunately there were 2 priestesses, one either side of me, and I think I've met one in this lifetime. Not very nice. Jealousy, if you know what I mean. And once the lid had gone down and the priests had gone, I found that there was a huge great snake at the bottom of the python, and they're massive. They are massive things, beautiful things, and he slithered up and sat on my throat. Hence my throat chakra's always been a bit iffy. And of course I died in the sarcophagus. And apparently if one dies in initiation, you have to take it again. And it sometimes happens you have to take it in real life. And I do suspect this lifetime's been so difficult, I must have been going through all the tests. And this actually, funny enough, this actually says there are 5 tests, 5 very, very difficult tasks to go through to be initiated before you can go forward into the next life, and you have to know all the names of the 42 assessors. So Egyptian rituals, I love them because they're so strong and they're so grounded. It's a very grounded energy, actually. Egyptian was very grounded people. I mean, they worked with the earth plane and lots of those very much on the planet, very much earth. Although they were very spiritual as well, they were very solid and earth. And I think I find that very reassuring, because it's sort of, we do need to remember that, don't we? So I hope I've covered that. It doesn't feel a brilliant video to me. Oh dear, perfectionist I am. But I just thought I had to do it today for some reason. And tomorrow I've got something to do, and I've only got so much energy per day. I don't know if anybody else has got this peculiar thing called MECFS, a bit like fibromyalgia. And sometimes you get a complete depletion of energy, you cannot do anything. Well, I have to keep going because I'm on my own. So this is a brave effort. I hope somebody gets a kick from it. And I better go now. It's 11 minutes. Anyway, if I probably will think of more after I've sent it. Oh, I will say yes, Dolores. She's a lovely lady, lovely teacher. I was a bit sad really. There were 42 of us there, and we were all sitting around in a circle, and she just goes round and talks to each of us, and we have our own little thing. And I think I went up to her and asked her a question, because I was practicing my astrology and my healing, all the things I've done, which are loads and loads of things. And I said to her, why is nothing really working? And she said, because it's not for this lifetime. Which saddened me a bit, because I love it. I love all that stuff. And I don't know whether, I think I probably somehow brought it together into this sharing of energy on a video, and I do write things as well. And I think it's almost like a collective. I've had past lives as an entertainer and a juggler and this, that and the other. So I think I brought it all together in this sharing of knowledge and what I've known and my experiences. It's not very profound really, but I'm an old lady. And I think I can get away with it because I've got the experience, you see. And the experience is what it's all about. It's not just reading a book and practice and doing it. You have to somehow practice it and integrate it into your whole system. Then you can pass it on, you see. Okay, on that note, oh yes, no, I won't say that. I will say it, why not? This is the time of the base chakra, Kundalini. Lots of us are feeling a little bit could do with a friend in bed or whatever. And I was waking up feeling a little bit over the top. I thought, God, what can I do? It's energy, it's all the energy. You can feel it buzzing away, and it hits you everywhere. You just want to scream. And I thought, I know what, it's only Earth's energy after all. Let's get rid of it. So I went into my kitchen, I washed the floor at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it worked. And I think the motto is, if you can't have sex, wash the floor. Anyway, on that note, dear ones, I'm going to leave you. Love you and leave you. Have a happy solstice, whatever. And I don't know, just keep plodding on, really. Don't look at the outside world. Be in the world, as Jesus said. Be in the world, but not of it. Okay, take care. Bye-bye for now.